trapped here in my room, no trace left here of you. Cold gone, another person or two, seems like I'm the only one home. Aligned with the sun, shadows on everyone, no reason to run. Hide inside, just stay at home, so lost and alone. Be here, unknown, don't tell a soul. Bad taste, can't seem to get it out. Blank space where you shut my mouth. Filled yours with love to spit it out. I thought we wanted the same thing. Trust me, it's alright. Goodbye. Now let me try to sleep, but don't care to say goodnight. It would be a lie. Another fleeting dream. Trust me, it's alright. Goodbye. You never meant anything. You mean nothing to me. Just stay at home, so lost and alone. Be here, unknown, don't tell a soul. Been so down since you left, can't get out of this hole. Stay safe at home, so lost and alone.
Hi guys, welcome back to the LNobbins channel. With LNobbins, who'd have thunk it? It's been a while. It's been a few days. Let me just explain myself. You'd know this if you're in our Discord server, where it's like a big group chat. But basically, there was a wedding over the weekend. So I wasn't able to go to the Ipswich game because it was on the Saturday. Obviously, I chose to do the videography for the wedding, recording stuff, and I wanted to get out to the happy couple as quickly as possible. So I spent all of Sunday doing that, and then Monday I had shows and So I only watched the Ipswich game on Monday. The analysis video has only just gone out on that as well. So make sure to go watch that afterwards if you'd like to. So what we are going to do in today's video, because there were two key things I wanted to touch on in the post-match analysis of like the Ipswich situation. One of which is covered in the video, which we'll touch on today. It's to do with utilising Haaland to his best abilities, etc. But the other feature, as you can tell by the thumbnail, is to do with Savio. Basically, the rediscovery of City's right wing. So I do have my tactical ball. What I've done is I've gone through the game and I've got stills from the game, as I would do on like a YouTube video, but we're just going to be doing it off the cuff and live instead. As I say, it's all focusing around Savio, so hopefully that will be of interest to you guys. And there is the Discord link by Jack. Thank you for that. For some reason, I've also been doing lots of background stuff, and clearly I've been doing too much background stuff because now I can't I can't bring up your guys' comments, which is very annoying, so I am going to have to look into that. But apart from that, I've been doing quality of life improvements to the background of the streams as well. Apart from when I do it and it doesn't work. But yeah, so as I say, we're going to be doing that. And Cancelo's been confirmed as departing, I believe, today, or at least personal terms have been confirmed. So I feel like it's also going to be pertinent to discuss that. And you guys are asking now, City are interested in two more names, any more signings this season. So maybe we'll touch on that as well. Let me know where you guys would like us to start, though. As I say, that there's like those main areas. There's the Savio discourse. There's, maybe any transfer activities or lack of transfer activities. And then there's the sale of Cancelo. Let me know, guys, in the live chat right now. Of those three, what should we discuss first? Savio and the analysis there, Cancelo's departure, or the need for any more transfers, etc. You've got three options there. Let me know what you would like to discuss whilst you guys are deciding. I'm just going to catch up on the chat a sec. Sadly, can't put it on the screen, but I can still read it, of course. Hello, Backbench says a go on Nobbins. Brilliant. Sean says Pep is literally toying with Cancelo. Big up to you, formidable Centurions, as always. Hello, Matty, Salgat, Stephen. Savio is a savage. Glad to know you're still alive. Yes, of course. And as I say, I was just at a wedding. Fulminova says, we've replaced Mahrez with his younger version, and Gundo is back. All we need is a backup striker. Savio might just be better than Nico Williams. That's a bold statement. Bernard's won 0 out of 10 duels so far. Apparently, that's mad. Do you think Bernardo's role is... Cameron says, do you think Bernardo's role is tailor-made for Foden considering our out-of-positionship? Yeah, Cameron, I think, yes, absolutely. And I've discussed this on LB's channel, that... Because like people say, you know, City doing so well, you know, where do you see Foden in this team, Gundogan, etc. I think that if we are going to persist with what we are doing currently, and I'm still not convinced we are going to do that. I sort of hope we do, but I don't know. I don't know if we will. I think a really easy swap would be you take Bernardo out and you put Foden in, because despite what people think about Foden, Foden is very good in respect of his pressing work, especially pressing from the front. And as you rightly point out, Cameron, my issues with Foden playing in midfield without the ball has been the fact that we do normally set up in a 4-4-2. So it'd be no Foden next to Rodri. That's not really enough support. But as you correctly point out, and again, I've discussed this with LB, if we're playing a staggered, you know, a 4-1-4-1, then that makes that midfield frailty less frail. So you see, so technically it would be like a more reserved 4-3-3. You'd have Rodri and then 2 players ahead of him, you know, Foden and De Bruyne or whoever. So that could definitely work 100%. 100%. And you guys have decided. So Sebastian wanted Cancelo, Savio analysis, Savio, Cancelo, Savio. Right, so we are going to start with Savio. We'll then go into Cancelo because that seems to be the second most requested one, and then we will go into just like the general state of, you know, City squad and transfer situation, etc. So I'm now going to press the button and we are going to go over there. So I shall see you guys momentarily. Make sure to like the video, by the way, or else. And it should have muted that. Very annoying. Anyway, we're over here now. Hi guys, how are you? I haven't put all my lights on. Hiya. Spoilers, you can see my... I've clicked... I'm so useless. Idiot. Nah, ignore that. Yeah, ignore that, guys. Oh, God, it's all... Bear with me. There we go. The joys of technology. Hello, guys. Cancelo's a waste of time, says for the middle plus interest. It's still... I think it still will be good to talk about, because there was a period where I really liked Cancelo, to be honest. Anyway, lads, I was just pressing the wrong buttons. Apologies there. We're back, and as you can see... it's a lovely time. So this isn't my Savio work. This is actually my end of Haaland video. So let's start with the Savio one, shall we? Now, it's important. I think it's important for us, before we even discuss Savio, to discuss the context around him. Last season, and again, you will know this because you all will have watched my title tactics video from last season. City basically had no right-sided presence at all last season. Like, if you think of our wingers last season, who were our wingers last season? Chat, who were our wingers last season? I'll tell you who our right wingers were last season specifically. It was Kyle Walker. This is in possession, obviously. It was Kyle Walker. It was Bernardo Silva. It was sometimes Phil Foden. It was very briefly Jeremy Doku. Am I missing anyone? I don't think I am. Maybe Bob for like 1 or 2 games, but realistically, those were our main right-wing options. Now, there are issues with all of those options. In the first instance, let's take it a step at a time. Walker's a right-back and's got no offensive bone in his body in 2024. Bernardo Silva, as we have established now, his right-wing days are hopefully behind him. He's clearly more of a central player nowadays. His influence on the right has waned to the point where it is a borderline detriment. Oscar Bobb's currently got a broken leg and also like didn't really play much on the right anyway. And then when Phil Foden played out on right wing, sometimes he would start on the right, but technically be in the middle. That's when Walker would play. Very, very occasionally, Foden played outright right winger. He had some good games, but again, those good games were when he was allowed to drift inside. For example, against Brighton, when in games where he shoved out on the wings against, like let's say Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, for example, there was no right-sided presence basically because Foden's not a right winger. So essentially, and that was establishing like the attacking network graphs, which I analysed last season, there was basically no right-sided presence at all. It was all focused down the left in terms of our wing play, or rather our better wing play. And as I said, it was all forced through. Doku. Thank you so much for your super chat, Austin. Why has my printer not worked? I'm very frustrated. Why is that not? Guys, this is annoying. It's supposed to print out your super chat. Why hasn't it done that? I hate technology so much. Anyway, Austin, thank you so much for your super chat. It should have been printed out. That's my bad. I'll look into that as well. One thing that surprised me about Savio was his pressing. I was worried about losing that from Alvarez, but it seems like Savio will be it. Absolutely, Austin. You've jumped the gun there, but you're spot on 100%. Thank you so much for your super chat again. And once again, I apologise. It should have printed it out, and I should be able to read it for you guys, but that's not happened. Yeah, so this is as early as minute 1, okay? Leif Davis, I think that's how you say his name, he had a really bad game against Liverpool and also a bad game against City, to be fair. But Savio absolutely does him there. Because in the past, again, from this position here, let's say Kyle Walker is here, for example, in Savio's place as our true right winger. There is no true threat here. But because Savio is a threaty boy, he can go from a position like here to over here in the space of 4 or 5 seconds, and he's able to deliver a dangerous ball with his right foot, which Holland nearly gets onto. Now, the fact that just make sure I'm talking about the correct thing here. Yes. Now, the fact that has happened. So Leif Davis has been beaten, he's gone on the outside, and we'll talk about his inside work later. The fact that Leif Davis has been beaten on the outside means that now he doesn't really want to touch him, and this is actually after the penalty goal, which I will also discuss. Davis is now terrified, whoever this player is now terrified of the concept of touching Savio, because the precedent has been set, indeed a threaty boy, the precedent has been set that that he will beat you either way, and if you try to tackle him, unless you get it spot on and perfect, you're going to give away a penalty. So this time, Savio, once again, he's like tormenting him. He takes him down the wing, and we saw previously, Savio was more than comfortable going down the line. Hello, Evie, that's my cat. Going down the line, crossing in there. That's been established. Oh, gosh. That's been established, yes? Now what Savio does is he drifts inside. He beats him with the dribble. And he goes, well, the beauty of this is I can go that way or I can go that way. It is irrelevant and you cannot stop both things unless you're a supreme fullback, and that is what he is not. Now, from an Ipswich perspective, thankfully, Davis actually gets to tackle spot on here. But once again, the precedent has been set. And this is what Austin was talking about earlier with his pressing. Now, this is actually the pressing for the goal. This is just some really nice general pressing. Again, doesn't necessarily lead to anything. But what I like here, if you pay attention to Savio here, pay attention to still, is the understanding of which passing lanes he needs to stop, if that makes sense. So right here, for example, this Ipswich player, if he gets to turn right, he could potentially try to play a forward pass there, or if he wants to progress the ball, obviously he can go backwards if he wants to, or maybe more likely, he can try to take it out to Davis here. As things stand, Savio is not currently committed either way. What happens now, if I just progress it there, is that because Lewis is out of shot here, you can just see him there. This pass is now not on because of Lewis's advanced positioning, and this is what City did. They suffocated and pinned Ipswich back. It now forces player to go, well, I don't have this option now. I can't pass to this. I can't pass to this chap because Bernardo's in the way. The only option now is this guy. However, Savio's also identified that point, and he's gone, well, he's gone from this point. It seems like a really simple thing to do, but it is very clever from Savio, an awareness perspective, to appreciate that if he just bends his, like, fucking, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, guys? This is why I don't do it live, because I can't get my fucking words out. But you see what I mean in terms of blocking out that passing lane. It's very clever from Savio. He wins the ball there. I really like that. This is what we were talking about, or I was talking about earlier, because once again, the precedent has been established. Davis has been twatted when he's gone down there and just gone to the byline, or when he's gone down there and then come back in, okay? So Davis is now really concerned about that point, so he's desperate to not allow Savio to go down the outside. But the beauty of Savio, and we all know this based on my analysis video, which I know you've all watched, is that Savio, if you've got this area cordoned off, Savio is well adept at just drifting horizontally. He can go vertically and horizontally, and either getting a shot off himself or laying it off to another player, and that is exactly what happens. He does Davis on the body turn, he drives horizontally, gets into this incredibly threatening position where here he can either try to take the shot on himself, he can try to lay it off to De Bruyne. In the end, what happens is he tries to get the position for himself, he gets fouled, and ultimately does fall to De Bruyne, who hits it just wide. This is what I mean about the return of the wing, and this is the penalty, actually, by the way. Hello, Elder. And this is the penalty, by the way. So, and this is what got City back into the game. And I feel like it's something that we haven't. I'd need to go back and look at the stats, but I feel instinctively that we haven't really had like a dedicated penalty winner since Sterling left. I know Doku did a bit of it last season, but that just seems to have been like a lost art. In a way, I don't know when the last time a player got won more than 2 penalties in like a Premier League season, for example. I feel like it was Raheem Sterling, and that is what Savio I think will be, and also what Doku will be. It could be because City gets so many touches. They get so many touches in the opposition penalty box, and when those touches are going to your high volume 1v1 threats, you are, by definition, going to win far more penalties. And when you've got a brilliant penalty taker like Haaland, it's just cash money, isn't it? That's exactly what happens. I think this is the first, or maybe the second time, sorry, that Savio takes on Davis, and Savio beats him, takes him on the outside. Ultimately, it results in the penalty. And this is like a nice little cheeky final action, I think. Savio, yes, fantastic at crossing on the left, but let's not forget the fact that he's also very good at the inverted crosses in general. Haven't quite yet seen it for City, but he is absolutely brilliant at that as well. So what we have in, as it reaches home, but it's not quite good enough. So what we have in Savio is a player who can go, in terms of taking on his fullback, he can go that way to the byline and cross it there. He can drift in and actually just dribble there. He can go horizontally, lay it off for others, or take shots on himself. Or, if you want to, he can even bend these inverted crosses to the forward players. That's a lot of arrows, guys. Yeah? That's a lot of arrows. The point being, the Savio is the opposite of a one-dimensional offensive threat. He can go that way and do multiple things that way. He can go that way and do multiple things that way. He can stay stationary and play it off to someone else. He can play ridiculous inverted crosses. The return of the wing. Lord of the Rings pun. We love to see that. City had no right-wing presence last season, basically. This is a massive improvement. I've seen some people try to suggest that, taking out Alvarez and popping in Savio is sort of like a net neutral, but I couldn't disagree with that anymore. This gives City a totally new offensive attacking dimension, which has been lacking for years now. I feel like even when Bernardo did such brilliant work on the right wing in the treble winning year, he was not a threat in this manner. Doku, when he's played out on the right, bit one-dimensional. Even though I do still like him on the right, I think he can do a job there on the right. I'm still surprised it's not worked for him on the right. Doku is more one-dimensional in terms of he will just drive, go to the byline, cross when he plays on the right. In the same way that Savio on the left is more one-dimensional and predictable, maybe. Goes to the byline, crosses. Great crosses, but it's really predictable. You can't predict what he's going to do here. As a fullback, you can't overly commit one way or the other. So that's just what I wanted to get across from my watching of the Ipswich game. And what this does as well is, and I touched on this in my Haaland analysis video, go watch that after this stream, please. If you are getting more from your offensive wide players, then Haaland's going to thrive by definition and as a consequence of that. So it's all just a lovely, happy situation for City fans. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Savio. So impressed with him. Wonderful, wonderful player. And it's only 2 games in, and he's a lot better than I thought he was going to be honest. So long may it continue. He got his deserved assist. Maybe could have had another assist if De Bruyne was able to get that shot on target just from outside the box. And yeah, Savio is an absolute baller. So let's now go and talk over there now. Oh gosh, my cat has taken my space. No. Evie, can you guys see her? Look at this naughty girl. Look at this cat. I was only on my feet for a few minutes and she's taken my seat. You're a bad girl, Evie. Right, come here. Oh, did you hear her cry? Oh my gosh. Hello. Say hello. That's right. Are you so beautiful? You guys got any questions for Evie? Let me know. No one wants to see right wing Bernardo anymore, says B. Savio should be City's #1 right wing right now, and Bob no 2 won't fit again. I totally agree. I don't know what Bob's state will be like when he comes back into the side after his broken leg, but yeah, Savio and Bob should be the two main options at right wing, 100%. As I say, get your comments in the chat, guys, because this is a Q&A show as well. Evie, be cute for the content, yes. Any questions for Evie as well? Let me know. Not happy with Esmond going on loan. Thought he might get a few cup games on the bench. I don't know if he's going to be good enough. That's the only issue for City long term, Denton. Hello, Becky. Big up Nobbins. Love your content. Guilty pleasure of mine as a Liverpool fan. Well, Becky, I'm very happy that we've got non-City fans here as well. I'm really happy that you are enjoying that. Cameron, great question. Is a treble on again? Protest if you want to. If the treble's on, there you go. That counts as a protest. There we go. The treble's on. Evie has said it is so. What little girl. Oh gosh, absolute chaos. There she is. Oh, she hates it. Oh my. Oh, she absolutely hates it. We got Cat Dad Nobbins before GTA 6. Oh dear, let's grab the chat from over there. As I say, it shouldn't have to work like that, but it is. There we go, lovely. Right, okay, we're back, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. So that was just a very, very brief description of like why Savio's so lovely and wonderful. But I wanted just because I didn't have the time to fit it into the normal analysis video, so I thought it would be interesting to discuss there. Savio 19, how good can it? He's not 19, isn't he 21? Am I being stupid? I thought it was 21. I have to research this. Are you sure he's 19? Or is he 20? Is he 20? Is he 20 years old? Let's have a look. Savio, if I can adjust my fucking chair as well. Christ, what's going on in today's show? Absolute chaos has erupted. How old are you, my man? 20. He's 20. He was 19 earlier this year, though, in fairness. But yeah, he's currently 20 years old. Yeah, and his official Wikipedia page has also been changed to Savio. In the Portuguese name, the first on maternal family name is Moreira, and the second is de Oliveira. Savio Moreira de Oliveira. Sick name, man. Sick name. Do you remember what I told you about Savio Sapala? On the left, he's a little bit more cute. Passing on the right, much more direct. Yeah, and as we said, much less one-dimensional also. I'd like to see next season defensive right-back to cover up for Rico's defensive shortcomings. Says Knitting. Listening will be perfect for both depth and competition. Yeah, there's always a question mark with me about Lewis's defensive solidity, but I think he's done. If I'm being very harsh, I think he probably was most at fault for the Ipswich goal, maybe because he doesn't quite read the run, he doesn't quite follow his man. But outside of that, I think he's been really, really impressive. Ian says, let's push to get Nobbins 17k subs. Says, Ian, yes, we are 17% of the way there to my ultimate goal. I want to get 100,000 subs. I think the content's ultimately good enough to get to that figure. I think we can definitely do that, guys. So yes, if you are new, do make sure to subscribe. And make sure to leave a like on the video as well, guys. Leave a like on the video because we've got over 100 people watching and only 54 likes. Let's get to 100 likes, guys. Come on now. Rico is tenacious, says Stephen. Absolutely. And just on Rico Lewis, guys, again, this is a Q&A show in addition to me speaking at you, so feel free to get your thoughts, comments, statements, questions in, etc. Enrico Lewis. Cancelo is obviously leaving the club. Enrico Lewis basically forced Cancelo out of the club by being a lot better than him, to be honest. Let's be real, that is basically what happened. It sucks to be him. He could not deal with the idea of being second choice to a child, to be honest, a kid, in his alleged words. And it's such a shame from a Cancelo perspective, because there was a period of 2 years where he was, in my opinion, the best or one of the best fullbacks in the world. That's how good he was. From 2020 through to 2022. You know, the 2020-21 season and the 21-22 season. He was wonderful. He was brilliant. And I don't agree that he was bad defensively. Was he as good defensively as Ake? No, but he was solid. The main issue was that he dropped off a cliff in the treble-winning year, and he was shit defensively. He wasn't even good going forwards for the most part. I still remember that Trivela assist to Haaland. It's one of my favourite, maybe is my favourite Haaland goal for City. But the negatives were far outweighing the positives. Remember that game at Anfield, for example. Enrico Lewis comes in, and he's not playing anymore, and Ake's playing ahead of him as well at left-back. And it always disappoints me with Cancelo that his attitude, as soon as there was the moment of adversity, a slight moment of adversity, and he was just like, nah, I'm not happy, play me, or I'm going to leave. It's like, all right, we'll leave then. And that just annoyed me, to be honest. Bayern ultimately didn't want him. Barcelona didn't want him enough to sign him. And you just look at his, and now he's being shipped off to Saudi. It's just a waste. It's a shame, again, because he could have been brilliant. And had he kept at that form, then he would have been elite. But he decided to shit the bed when the going went tough, rather than doing like what Ake did, where Ake struggled early on at City. What did he do? He didn't complain. He didn't cry. He got on with it, and he improved. And he became an instrumental starter in that treble-winning campaign. Whereas Cancelo cried his way out to Bayern again, who didn't want him, to Barca. They can't afford him. They don't want him enough to do that. So it's a shame, because I really like Cancelo. I genuinely really liked him. But there we go. And it looks like we got a decent amount of money for him, in fairness. I don't know how much it is exactly. I think it's like 20 million quid, though. Now, from an accounting perspective, I believe that's technically a profit from an accounting perspective. And also, crucially, his, I imagine, large wages off the wage bill as well. So, you know, thank you for those 2 years where you were, in my opinion, elite. But I thought it was a little bit shitty the way you left. So, there you go. And Staffy says Cancelo equals good riddance, too bad. Rubbish. Anthony asks, where do you play Foden now? If we're talking about that exact lineup, just playing where Bernardo is, I think it could definitely work. Cameron asks, my ideal 5 captains. I think that Kevin should be the captain. I think I'm a little bit iffy about having Gundogan too high a priority, because he did leave, and I don't know. I feel like even if you played for us before, should you really be in that captain conversation? So I definitely have Kevin up there. I'd have Rodri and Ruben Diaz in there as well, and then maybe I'd have Gundogan, and then from there I don't know, but that's 4 names. I think, because it's got to be a player who's ideally should be a player who is going to play the majority of the game, someone who we know to be a leader. Global Travel says Walker. I personally wouldn't have Kyle Walker as my captain. I'd have Kevin, and also just because I like the idea of Kevin holding up trophies. You know, it's cute. City Play set to vote. Who do you think? Again, CK, I want Kevin to be captain. Samir says, is there any solution to conceding the first shot every match? So the main issue with, or actually, so this is a very interesting question by Samir, and we have talked about it before. It's not a coincidence that City regularly concede from. I feel like I'm slightly delirious. I had to move my camera because I had to take it to a wedding, so I have to say all my settings are all fucked. I had to reposition it, etc. So I might be a bit wrong. That seems fine. the way that City operate defensively is that they are happy to not succeed a lot of chances, but the chances that they do succeed are very high quality chances. And that just comes with the territory of how City set up. City will always be vulnerable to counterattacks, but it's sort of like a necessary evil. There's only so much you can do. So the solution is to just try to stop the attack at source. Now, you do that by overwhelming the opposition from like a numbers perspective. So, for example, against Ipswich, they got to a stage, it was sort of like around the 60th minute onwards, where I can't even remember Ipswich having the ball because they were so deep and so defensive, and their defensive line was so far back. It meant that even when they were able to, so even when like City were popping the ball in, and they were doing that a lot because the main directive was Kevin, get the ball to Haaland, Kevin, get the ball to Haaland, Kevin, get the ball to Haaland, which obviously means you lose the ball a lot. But even when we lost the ball, Ipswich were penned in, so all they could do is like punt it up, and then our centre-back recycles possession, and we start again. So it just comes with the territory, I think. So the solution is to almost like change how City play entirely. Or, you know, somehow restore Fernandinho back, because that would solve a lot of those counter-attacking problems. So honestly, it just comes with the territory, in my opinion. Foden captain arcs with Cameron, that would be so lovely. Do you think Foden can make the defense work that Bernardo does? I do, yeah. Especially if, as someone mentioned it before, especially because if we're doing the 4-1-4-1, which is what we have been doing, I don't see why not. I don't see why not, to be honest. Why can't that be a thing? Why can't he do that? You know? I think so. I'm just, where's the thing? Where is the thing? Is it going to annoy me? It's going to annoy me. Yeah, anyway. KB being the best player in the history of our club deserves to go out as captain. You're preaching to the converted there, Stephen. I totally agree. Kanji in the captain conversation, says Louise. What's the future of Jack now, says Ran. He didn't play much last season. Now he also got injured before the community shield. Good use of the shield emoji. The future is, well, he needs to get back to full fitness, obviously, and I can't really comment on it until he gets back to full fitness, because in the games, especially towards the end of last season, the games he played, he looked good, and he played well. Like the Aston Villa game, for example, the Crystal Palace game, he looked very, very good. Even like the first leg against Real Madrid. So if it's that Jack back, then he's got a very good place in this team, and he'll be competing for that left-sided space with Doku, and it would depend on the game. You know, if there's a game where we do want to be a bit more measured, then I think you start Grealish there. But obviously, you just need to go back to form. I'm a big Jack Grealish fan, but I accept that if he doesn't play to the level that he needs to play at, then he obviously shouldn't be starting. Hello, Nippon. Hello, Musty. Have you already talked about Sterling United? If not, we opinion. Oh, I didn't even think about talking about Sterling. Yeah, so I don't know how valid this is. I spoke about it on the Football Terrace earlier today. Allegedly, Raheem Sterling is going to Manchester United, or is at least open to the idea of going to United. Now, that upsets me, obviously, because I'm a big Raheem Sterling defender and fan. I really rate him. I really highly rate it. I rated his time highly at Liverpool, highly at City as well. Even his start to Chelsea, like last season, was very promising. He just got injured and then out of the team, and then he played a bit pooey thereafter. So if he goes to United, it will hurt, to be honest. It will. I'll be very upset. And if he's like entertaining it, and I understand he's not like a City fan, so he can do what he wants, but it's just like a shame, because again, it's a player who I really highly rate. And like Musty asked the follow-up question, does your opinion change on him? Because I consider Sterling to be a legend for City. Not like a legend in the same level of Aguero or Company or Fernandinho, etc. But I look at it as tiers. So in like the top tier, you know, you've got the likes of Colin Bell, Aguero, Company, etc. In the second tier, you've got the likes of, Zabaleta, maybe like, like Joe Hart, maybe. That sort for me, I know lots of people would put Yaya in the top. I have Yaya Toure in that second one. And then the third tier, you may be looking more like, Sterling, like Dzeko, that sort of player. So I think that there are tiers to legend status in my view. So if he does go to United, it probably does change how I feel about him. Not in terms of what he was as a City player, but it probably does change how I feel in respect of like where I would rank him, because it's hard to justify that if he then goes and does that. Hopefully he doesn't. I'm hoping it's just like, agent talk or whatever, but we'll see. Hello the Giant, who says, I think given our fake transitional play, Grealish would be better suited to the midfield as he was at Villa. What and maybe, those positions that Doku was picking up, where he goes centrally. We know that Grealish loves to drive in centrally, so that could absolutely be a thing. Absolutely. That's why I do think there will be a place for Grealish in this side this season. Now, will he be an outright starter? No, but I don't think Doku will be an outright starter either. I think there will be competition there, and probably depends on the game state as well. Julian says, I've noticed Foden's stake on his man in some games. Is it because he can't pass him, which I doubt, or is it because he wants to play safe? Well, Foden is not a winger. So Foden is not particularly good at, like you're stationary, you're standing up your opposition fullback, and you take him on 1v1. That's not how Foden works, and nor is that how Foden ever will work. He can't really dribble from a standing start. That's not his game. Like, he's not Doku, he's not Savio. That's not his style of play. But Bob is also quite adept at doing that. That's not really Foden's style of play. Foden is much better in terms of like dribbling and take-ons when he's actually already in the process of moving. So when he's gliding through, particularly midfield, and he's able to evade those challenges, that's when he's brilliant at taking on players. There are multiple methods in terms of taking on players. He's not particularly good at a stand-start take-on, which is why he should never be out, on the wing trying to do that. But he should be doing that, in the midfield, on the half turn. Now he's driving at the opponent. That is when he can do that. Big up to you, Leany. If you're just joining the chat, guys, just during the show, sorry, please leave a like on the video. It does really help. I'll also be going live on Twitch later today. We'll be doing some gaming over there on Twitch. So make sure to join me over there as well, because it will be fun. I assure you. I promise you. Nippon says, I think we only need one more sign, someone like Fernandinho could pretty quickly cover whole defensive areas, and hopefully that will be the sort of play that we bring in next season. Yours truly, Highness Zoro says, obviously think we can win 6 trophies if Doku can cross. It is certainly a string he needs to add to his bow, consistently being great at crossing. I agree. We're finishing off Wolf Among Us, Jack. That's what we're doing. So make sure to join me for that. If you do exclamation mark Twitch in the chat, it will give you the link. Raphael says not a legend, more of an icon. I mean, as I say, for me, I'm looking at it as like tiers of like legend status or whatever. What percentage did you give City to win the Premier League this year? Says Ahmed. We should, if we don't win it now, it's a big failure, I think, given the fact that we have brought in Gundogan. Thank you for that, Musty. Lovely work. Yeah, for some reason my chat's just not working. I tried to do the command, it's not working. So much shit is going on here. What was I saying? I was saying something wise then. What was I saying? Oh yeah, percentage to win. We've brought in Gundogan, so if we don't, we've got to be massive favourites. Arsenal have strengthened, but I don't think they've strengthened as much as City, to be honest. I think that people are downplaying the upgrade that Savio is from Alvarez, not necessarily in terms of like the quality of the player, more so in their usage. Like taking Alvarez out of the midfield and putting Savio at right wing is just like, it's a ridiculous step up. It's a ridiculous upgrade. I think that we started the season very well, obviously, and we haven't even seen our two best players from last season feature that much. Like Rodri's not featured at all. Foden featured for half a game when he had like 2 or 3 days training or whatever. So in terms of percentage, right now I'd say 80%. It should be very, very likely that City win the title this year. Should be. Or it's nothing to do with the PC, Musty. It's bloody. I actually don't know what it is, to be honest. I don't know what it is because these widgets have never failed me before. Now they are failing me, and that's upsetting me. Especially when I spend money on these widgets to make the stream more engaging for you guys. Like, that printer widget costs bare P. And I've made another widget, or we're making another widget, which will reward members and super chatters. It's going to like be like a rotating widget. It'll like pop up every like 10 minutes or whatever. So that's that shout out to you guys. Louis says, who does Bob remind you of? Rico and Bob feel like 2 new signs for me. Can't wait to get them back. I mean, Lewis doesn't remind me of anyone, to be honest, because he's from a City perspective anyway. I can't even really think of someone. Because he's got so many qualities from so many different players. Like it's I feel like it's sometimes early Bernardo Silva when he's on the ball. In terms of Bob, again, it's very, very different. Sometimes I see like flashes of like David Silva in there with the small space play, but then in terms of like the really quick dribbling, I don't even know what I see. I think that the good thing is these are like unique players. Hello, United Spurs of America saying Nabinho. How you doing, my man? Jakob. Alvarez didn't even hear much. Stop it, Musty. Hello, Sanjeev. Shout out, Sanjeev, one of my beautiful members. How should Kev be replaced in the future? I think getting Musiala might be easier than Wirtz. Only 1 year left on the contract, that is, if he doesn't sign a new one. I don't know what the solution is to the De Bruyne question. De Bruyne is irreplaceable directly. No one is going to ever replicate his big space passing because objectively, in terms of like football history, only like Messi is a better playmaker than De Bruyne. This is the level of player that we are talking about here. So I don't know if you can even directly replace him. I think that, again, I've said this before, to steal a phrase from Moneyball, you recreate him in the aggregate, and you do that, with like players like Phil Foden, adding that string to his bow, and maybe adding more creativity out wide. And it's good to see that we have added Savio and also Doku. So maybe that will be the thing. A player like Bruno Guimaraes would be good from like a big space creation perspective. Obviously, I know it's not a direct replacement, but again, I don't think we can look at it as who's a direct replacement because that player doesn't exist, quite frankly. There is no Kevin De Bruyne replacement directly. It doesn't exist. It may not exist for however long. Thoughts on Spurs' window, asks Jakob. Shall we have a look at exactly who you signed? Shall we have a look at exactly who you signed? I hate how the fucking internet always goes over to my fucking other monitor over there. Fucking hell. I know you signed Solanke, obviously. Who else, though? I'm just going to look on my phone because it's not working on that. Right. Spurs transfer window. I like the Solanke signing, I will say that much. I think that's very good. Who else have you signed? Who did you sell? Oliver Skip? You got 20 million quid for Oliver Skip, Fairs. God, and you got some money for Emerson Royale. That is mental how you've achieved that. Fair play. Who else have you signed? Oh, that Swedish lad I don't know anything about, but he's apparently very exciting. Again, from people who I respect, Archie Gray is a very good player. So fair play there. I think the main one though, I'm impressed with Solanke. I think it's a really good signing. You needed a Harry Kane replacement. Fair play. Solanke's really good. I like that signing. I think Spurs will finish fourth. Jacob. I think Spurs will finish fourth. Foden won't bench Bernardo. He should do because he's a better player. Loving Savio, but seems a bit rash in defence. Could have given away a penalty in both league games. He's only a baby, to be fair, Dave. He's only 20. He's only a baby. Rico reminds me of Lam, says Paolo. Certainly from like a full-back into midfield perspective, that'd be a thing. How do Rico plays a right back 6, 10 and false 9 minutes against Ipswich? Yeah, low-key, Rico Lewis false 9 cooks. Loki cooks. Sai, hello mate, says Ayo Nobbins, good meeting you. Yes, that was very lovely, wasn't it? I had a really fun night. LB had to send me LB sent me home because I was because it was like, you got a wedding tomorrow, bro. I was getting a bit drunk. I was like, yeah, you're right, I need to go. Bye. It was really funny. Yeah, it was lovely meeting you all though. It was really lovely meeting you all. Obviously, I find the best looking studio of all the YouTubers, says Louise. It would be great, Louise, if my widgets would work, and then we can have an even better looking studio. I still haven't figured out what is going here. This is like the only empty space in the studio. I'm thinking, if you guys have got any ideas, let me know. I'm thinking a neon fucking Eagle Man City badge. That's a main road sign, by the way. You know, it's got to be a big thing so you can see it visually, and that might be fun. I'm thinking like a big Eagle City badge. Let me know what you guys think though. What could it be? What could that space be used for? Let me know. Let me know. B says trying to revert back to false nine system when Haaland is not fit is idiotic. Pep's already done that system, and teams are figuring that out. Were they? Were they? I don't agree. I think it makes sense, to be honest. Because again, how many games is Haaland going to miss outside of an injury? In which case you fucked anyway. It's only going to be like 5 in the league, so I think it's perfectly fine to do that. I think Ghosty side just didn't get to your comment. I was speaking to everyone else. Okay. God. Jacob says I was upset at first at Slanky, but the more I research and watch, I think it, especially if he can like replicate last season's form, I think it'd be brilliant for Spurs, to be honest. Jack says Archgrace a Swiss. I mean, I've again heard a lot of good things about him. Rodgers from Villa, yeah. So I still haven't caught up on the Arsenal Villa game, but I've seen like a Rodgers comp, and he like embarrassed Rice and Partey, to be honest. Like, he dominated that midfield. So fair play, absolutely fair play. A massive picture of me, says Chag. Shut up. No one's done a 5 before. No, they have not. Not in England. No one ever done a 4 before City in the English top flight. So never mind a 5. City are in the process of still trying to create history here. We're creating history. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful time. Napoli went to sell Osimhen. Well, that it would be silly for City to sign like a striker who expects to start. That would be batshit. That would be mental to do that. Treble trophies would look good, says MCFC 4P. Also, some sort of like treble winning artwork, maybe. I do have the treble winning medal there. I do have that there. I don't know, Musty. It's a good question. It's not me. Imagine Prime Yaya. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 2014 Yaya, one of the best midfielders in Premier League history. He was one of the best midfielders in the world at that stage. It was just ridiculous. In an era where like Xavi and Iniesta were still knocking around. Ridiculous that season. He just seemed to score every single free kick. I was like, what's going on here? And it came out of nowhere as well. It's not like he was doing that years before or years after. It just like happened. I was like, what's going on? Anyway, it was great. It was great. I want to see Musiala at City. Fantastic young talent. Julian Patrick a top notch, says Nippon. I like Musiala. But Musty, well, that's why I got censored, because you added that as well. Question: would you consider signing Osimhen for? No, I wouldn't consider signing Osimhen because he's a. Sorry, and play 2 strikers. No, I don't like that idea, because then you're sacrificing a midfielder at that stage, and therefore you're sacrificing control. I think you can't skimp on the what's it, the midfield. IMO. No one's done 5 feet before is on your wall. No, it's not on my wall. What, are you saying you want it to be on the wall? I'm not going to put that there. Hello? Hello? Imagine young David Silverback, says City re-uploaded. Oh, I love it. If you could like, restore, like, to put them at like 18 years old, and and have them in City squad now, one player from City's past, let's say from the past, you know, I don't know, just so we're not talking about fucking players from like the 60s and 70s, etc. In the past 20 years, you can restore one player to have in this squad, as I say, like an 18-year-old. Who you picking? Who you picking? I don't know, to be fair. My first instinct was Aguero, but I feel like that's a bit of a waste when you got Haaland, who's still young himself. And it can't be someone who's currently playing, so you can't have like baby De Bruyne back. That's cheating. A Dzeko, says Musty. 4-peat signer if Roger wins Ballon d'Or, says Louise. Sadly, that won't happen. Got Aguero to board the walls like a long math equation. Wait, what? I don't even know how that would look, Jacob. You might have to send me a photo of that. I can't quite picture that in my head. David Silva, says Stephen. Erling's owning bench, says Musty FS. Maybe put a Gundo KDB Rodri art on the blank spot. Edison, if that counts. Now, having people who aren't still playing, but I do like that one. Can you imagine Yaya? Like Yaya, what that midfield even look like? Jesus, like Rodri. What, some sort of box midfield of Rodri, Yaya, Foden, Kevin De Bruyne. Crazy. Or even like a baby Vincent Kompany, maybe. Sort out your defense for like the next 10, 15 years. Yes, Dave says Kompany. Nippon says Kompany as well. Yeah, who didn't? I feel like neutrals loved Yaya because he was such a unique player. Why is no becoming Haller, says Nitin? I don't know, mate, to be honest. Bring me Edin Dzeko. 38 years old. Boom. We love to see that. Rodri Ferner. Oh my god. Rodri Ferner, Foden, Kev. Yeah, you are literally not accessing that midfield at all. Can you imagine a pivot of Rodri and Fernandinho? Crazy. Richard Dawn, that's a great shout, Linny. Oh, Sean Wright Phillips. Give him some competition out wide. Sanjeev asks, this is just into a Q&A stream, by the way, which is absolutely fine, because I feel like we talked about Savio, we talked about Cancelo, that's what I wanted to be, in fairness. What are your thoughts on the Oasis reunion? Controversial, guys, maybe. Is it controversial? I don't know if it is controversial. Statement, guys. I'm not the biggest fan of Oasis. I think that they are okay. I think Oasis are fine. But there is no Oasis in any of my playlists on Spotify, and I will never choose to listen to it. If it comes on, then I'll, like, listen to it. I'm not going to, like, skip it, because there are some songs I like Roll With It. I think Wonderwall's heavily overplayed, but I do like Roll With It. Yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of Oasis, to be honest, so I looked at the reunion in person and was like, I don't really mind. Good for them, though, if they want to get back. I know lots of people do like them, so I'm very happy they've got together, because that means people will be happy, so yeah, that is a lovely time. Disrespecting Yaya. Wait, why is Yaya being disrespected? What's going on? What is occurring? Navas. I prefer an attacking midfielder. They're good. Wait, I prefer AM. Oh, sorry, we're talking about songs. I thought we were talking about attacking midfielders. The best is Slide Away. I say I do like Roll With It. Good night, Niffin. Thank you for joining me, mate. Oasis, Wonderwall, and guitar. A party with straw. Yeah. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Oh god, those people. You one of those people, Jacob. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Oasis in my style, I was hoping the announcer was the awful fourth kit. Yeah, again, it's some songs are fine. Just not the biggest fan. Just not the biggest fan. Thanks for cheering me up, says Dave. Suffering. My 60th birthday today. Happy birthday, Dave. Happy 60th, mate. Really good to see we have a wide age range of people here. Love to see. It doesn't matter if you're a younger fan or an older fan. I love how we cater to everyone. Happy birthday, mates. Have a lovely time. Have a lovely meal. Why not? Treat yourself. Mario says, Do you think it's... Yeah, let's get some happy birthdays in the chat for Staffy, guys, or big up, or claps, or whatever. Or W's in the chat, however you want to say it to Staffy. Yeah, Mario says, do you think it's worrying we haven't had any updates on the Bob operation? No, I think that surely like the fact we haven't heard anything means that the situation hasn't changed. It's probably going to be all right, isn't it? He's probably going to be technically back in December, but in terms of like getting back to full sharpness, probably like more so in like January, like mid-January. I'd say maybe he's like starting games and back to his old self or whatever. That would maybe be my prediction there. And just have the same birthday, big up. Can you imagine Kolarov? I don't know if I've I don't know how many times, because I say it on the Twitch a lot. I don't know if I've said it. I don't know how many times I said it on the YouTube. But Kolarov was like, and maybe still is like my favorite City player. I just adored him. And I know he wasn't like brilliant, but I adored Kolarov. If I just looking for the 18-year-old player question, would he be guaranteed to replicate his 2019 form? Yeah, probably. Probably, Jack. Yeah, we'll go yes, actually. Anthony says, are we a better side than Madrid now? I'm sorry, but we were a better side than Madrid last year. And the fact that they beat us in a penalty shootout is not going to change my mind there. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. We were better across those two legs. I'm not having it that they were better. They won a penalty shootout. Fair play. The closest thing to randomness in football, basically. Because even like the best takers can shit the bed or whatever. So I thought we're better than them last year. I've not seen enough of them this year to comment. I know they've brought in Mbappe, for example, but we've brought in Savio. So when the Champions League starts, I'll be able to have my like a proper say on that. But based on last season, yeah, I thought City were better, and the fact that they won a shootout shouldn't change anything because it's a shootout. Anything can happen. In fact, their keeper even came out and basically said we gambled on Bernardo going down the middle. Now imagine if they made that gamble on any other player, and then Bernardo scores, and then City end up winning or whatever. So you get me. You get me. Jingle Bell says MCFC 4P, brilliant. Vinny Jr. said we were better. Good boy, good lad. I preferred Clichy to Kolarov. Yeah, I didn't dislike Clichy. I just really preferred Kolarov, to be honest. Thank you so much for subscribing, by the way. 57 Aklonogia. What is going on with my YouTube alerts? I'm going to do a thing. 1 second. Let me see if this works. I'm going to test whether the super chat thing works. So if I do that and I do super chat. Why is it working now? Why wasn't it working live? That's what should have happened when you super chatted earlier, by the way. Apologies, it didn't work earlier. I don't know why I didn't. It should have done, but it didn't. So that is a massive L. If I do new thing there. Yeah, now it's working. Why does it work when I test it? Pissing me off. If you subscribe, it should come up there. Anyway. Apologies, guys, for my rants. I watched the Mallorca game in the second half of the last game. I hope Mbappe needs time to gel for his sake because he's been serious poo-poo. Has he scored a league goal yet? Has he scored a league goal yet? Yeah? My generational striker could never. Yeah? My generational striker's already got a hat-trick. My generational striker has more hat-tricks than fucking... What's it? Jacob, thank you so much for the super chat, bro. Again, it's so annoying. That should come through. I don't know why it's not doing that. That should be coming through as a super chat. As a thing. I'm connected. Why isn't it working? Thank you so much, mate, for the support. It should have come through. It should have been printed out. I don't know what's going on. But there we go. That's something for me to try to figure out at some point. Yeah, shout out, Jacob, mate, for Staffy's birthday and Ange too. There you go, mate. We love to see that. I'm so sorry, Jacob. It's not working. I don't know why. I have robbed you of $2. I have robbed you of $2. And you know what the worst thing is? I'm not giving it you back. That is my $2 now. You're going to have to hold that, I'm afraid. I've robbed you and deceived you. There is no printer. There is a printer, so it's not working. Pissing me off. I'll try to figure it out after the stream, guys. It's been a long week. There's lots of personal stuff. Some exciting personal news is going to be happening soon. No spoilers, but it'll be exciting. Even Nostalgia Merchant scored before him in the league. Wait, who's the Nostalgia Merchant, Mario? Expensive picture. Well, Jacob, don't worry, mate, because it will. So when it works, come back to the channel, and because it should work. It has worked in the past. Literally, a super chat printed out last fucking week. It works on Twitch. I don't know why it's not working there. FYI, Pep's plan this year was to play 3-5-2, but Alvarez wanted to leave. How do you know that, though, B? Where's that come from? How do you know that's what he wanted to do? Is that a prediction? When was the last time Pep played two strikers? Like, consistently across the season? Has he ever done it? He's never done it at City. Like, consistently. He sometimes played around with a 3-5-2 at City with Aguero and Jesus, but it was few and far between. For the most part, it was not a front two, a pair of strikers. I can't recall him ever doing it for Bayern. Lewandowski was always either side of two wide players, and Barca, no, not either. So it would be a big, yeah, as I say, he did it for a couple games, but even then, I think it was like maybe 5 games max. And I think that was when he was still having like an identity crisis of like, it's a good point, Jack, as well, yeah. Where, or rather, how, because at that point he was, again, questioning whether Aguero was even going to be the guy at that point. He was trying to get Jesus into the team. That obviously turned, like Jesus got his injury, etc. Henry, Eto'o, not really, to be fair, because like even that was more of like a front three with Henry, Eto'o, and Messi, to be honest. Quite often Henry would be pushed out to the left wing. So I don't think so, to be honest. Certainly not over a course of a season. At the start of the 17-18 season, in some games, as Mario says there, when Mendy was available, that's about the only time, to be fair. That's about the only time. Yes, Mario, indeed. I do remember that game. Again, that was one of Mendy's great games. And then, sad times are sad. He got injured, and then all the off-field stuff, which I don't really want to talk about, because it's just a bit upsetting and disgusting. Savio on the left, Bob on the right, been mad. I need to have some water. I've not got any water in this glass. What an L. If this is De Bruyne's last season, let be worth a send-off. Exactly. Exactly. City had Aguero, Balotelli, Tevez, Dzeko at one time. Why can't City have 2 quality strikers? But that was when we played 2 strikers. Because that's what Mancini did. I would also say that we only really saw Tevez and Aguero in the same team very intermittently. In 11-12, Tevez missed the majority of the season because he wanted to go play golf. And the season after, Aguero was riddled with injuries. We've now got a situation where we've got one striker who is clearly the guy. If you go back in time to rewatch a season, would you rewatch the Centurions or the treble-winning season? Probably the treble-winning year, to be honest, because as beautiful as like the football was, in the Centurion year, there were some very frustrating moments. Like the FA Cup game was incredibly annoying against Wigan. The Champions League against Liverpool, very frustrating game to watch. So if there's my choice there, the treble-winning year, Well, Cameron's brought up 11-12. If I could do 11-12, I'd do 11-12 because that's maybe my favorite ever season. What's the plan if Erling gets injured? I've no idea, but my suggestion would be to do temporary false 9. If he gets injured, then we're shafted either way, aren't we? Because no one's going to be anywhere near the level of Haaland. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sanjeev. Ken, I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's not being printed. That's the point. It's not even doing it's not even doing the alerts. Like, you know, like Evie's supposed to pop off. You know, like when someone super chats and I lift up Evie and I do that. It's not working. I'm upset. I've been robbed of... Well, you've been robbed. I've not been robbed. You've been robbed of visual stimuli. And I'm upset. Pissing me off. Pep talked about training Haaland to be better on the ball, says Martin. It'd be nice if he could become better on the ball, but he's already good at being on the ball, to be honest. Signing a striker means you don't have to change systems, but we changed systems 3 times against Ipswich B. So it's not as simple as just going and change system. Like Pep's always got like a couple of systems up his sleeve, so I don't think it's necessarily an issue. Musty, it's nothing to do with the PC. It's nothing to do with the PC. It's all to do with the connection between YouTube and the software I use to make the alerts work. Because it works on Twitch. For some reason it's not working now. It's very upsetting. What's the word about Rodri returning? Will he make the Arsenal game? I hope so. I'm hoping that it's just like a precaution of what's going on with Rodri, and that actually hopefully he's all right. He better be. This is nice rest for him, I guess. Well, it's not rest if you're injured, but you know what I mean. Well, no, I don't know. Waffle words, yeah, that's the one. Air Force 9, KDB or Gundo, I think. I think that this season so far, and again, my videos are illustrating that this is the year where we get De Bruyne outside of the block. We do not want to be getting De Bruyne into smaller spaces because his influence there is getting smaller. Give him more time. Give him more space. He's not going to have that as a false 9. Whereas Gundo is still more than capable there. Foden, Bob, maybe even Savio. Grealish did that in the across those 2 years where we used false 9 as well. There are plenty of options there. There's plenty of options there. Hello, Stewie. Never be sorry, mate. Out of the box. What are your thoughts on Ipswich versus Fulham? When are they playing, mate? Are they playing like this weekend or something? Is that a thing? I've not even looked at the fixtures. Are we playing West Ham? I feel like we are. Middlesbrough losing 3-0. What an L. Poor Will. Ipswich, Fulham. Ipswich are going to win that game because for once, Leif Davis isn't going to have, you know, one of the trickiest right wingers in the world up against him. So it's going to be 2-1 to the Ipswich. You heard it here first. I agree. Cameron wasted. Yeah, 100%. Aguero and Negredo. Oh, I can't believe that Negredo was only here for 1 year, man. He was so brilliant. He was so much. I thought Jovetic was going to be the guy that year because we signed him in the same window, but Jovetic was a bit shit and got injured a lot. Negredo was just wonderful. His hold-up play, his link-up play was so selfless. His finishing was unreal. That first half of the season before the injury was elite. It was mental how good he was, and he partnered Aguero to perfection. It was so much fun. Thank you, Raphael. Glad you're enjoying the stream, mate. Ian Wright mentioned on Sky, won't be surprised if City become the invincible team this year after we signed Gundogan. I've never... Now, obviously, it's... I'm not saying it's impressive to go a league season unbeaten. It's very impressive to do a league invincible season, of course. But I'm personally of the view that I don't really care that much about not losing games. I care about winning games. And football, well, since the 3-point rule took place, I don't know when that happened. Was it was it the 80s maybe, or the early 90s? I can't recall exactly. I think it was the 80s. Football rewards winning more so than not losing. It's better to win and lose than to draw and draw. So it would be, so for me, like, it's nice to do something unbeaten, but I'd rather more points. I'd rather more wins, personally. If anyone can do it, it will be City, but I don't think Pep and City go out to go, right, let's not lose a game. The aim is to go out and win the game. That's the first bit of the mentality there. Let's go out and win it. Not be scared about losing the game. Let's just go out and win it. For the most part, there are some exceptions, but yeah. Don't disrespect Iwobi. I'll do what I want. Hello, Steve. Watching Lamal and Pedri against Rios, Cameron. No, I'm going to be playing a game on Twitch after this, mate. So make sure to join me there later, even if it's just to listen to my dulcet tones. I don't know why, Stu. It's outrageous. Back Ipswich, always. I can't believe that Boney signing, Cameron. I never understood that. Never understood it. My parents lied to me that Dzeko went out on loan. He'll come back. Oh, that's really sad. Marta says, we might have to beat Arsenal in our 2 games. Looks like they are cleaning the table. It will be very interesting to see what Arsenal's position is as well, because they've got to do a North London derby before going to the Etihad as well. I think it's at the Etihad anyway. They've got a really tricky run. They have, good work, Jack. Go for the Twitch if you haven't already done so, because we're going to be playing there later. Yeah, very impressive that they beat Villa, but very tricky fixtures are coming up. And if they can like weather the storm and like get maximum points in their first 5 games, then you just got to say fair play. There we go. See, it's working on Twitch. Akin, thank you for following the Twitch, mate. You see, the alerts are working. It's YouTube being a stinky, smelly boy. Yeah? I don't know why it's doing that. It's very upsetting. It's very frustrating. I waited for a solid 2 seasons for him to come back until I realised what had happened, as we'll still know. I'd rather win like over 30 games rather than lots of draws, says Raphael. Exactly, yeah. The aim should never be to not lose. The aim should always be, from a footballing perspective, can you get the win? Every single time. Every single time. If you want to win trophies anyway. Because there are some instances, and this is a Wikipedia, you can go on Wikipedia, there's an article all about it. There have been many seasons across the footballing world, and indeed in Europe, where you can go invincible in the league, unbeaten in the league, and you don't even win the title. It's happened in Portugal before, for example, where a team came second, they lost out by like 1 point, but they didn't lose it any games, but they didn't win the league. So that's why I don't really care about this idea of going unbeaten or whatever, personally. I'd rather, for example, I'd rather get 100 points than get like 90 odd and be unbeaten. You know what I mean? I personally think it's more impressive to have more points, because more points is more wins is more points. More likely to, well, if you've got the most points, you win the title, of course. Chelsea will be harder than Villa, says this insurance. Well, hopefully we caught Chelsea off guard early and maybe they become a very good side. Do you think City should sign Kyogo as a second striker? I don't know anything about him, to be honest, Daniel. I'm not going to lie. I personally am of the view that we don't need to do that. It must be fun to see how our best 11 will look like come March. Hard to predict more than 6 players. Nelson Martin, if we just look at it now, if for argument's sake we say the current team is what Pep views as his ultimate system or whatever, I don't know if it is, but for argument's sake, let's say that is the case. I think the front 3 probably don't change. I think he probably keeps the front 3 the same. I think that the main differences are obviously, I don't know if Bernardo starts. Foden should be starting, so I think Foden in for Bernardo. Obviously De Bruyne starts. And then it's probably just a straight strop of like Kovacic and Rodri. Lewis would have to play at right back, and he's better than Walker anyway. And in terms of like the defenders, Diaz would obviously be there, and it's just a question mark of does he prefer Gvardiol or Ake? I think he probably prefers Gvardiol overall. I think that's the long-term idea. He's certainly a lot better on the ball. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was very similar, but just those two taken out. But again, it might be a totally different system with totally different ideas. Leverkusen were close to actually Invincibles. Yeah. And that's the thing as well. Like, a side note here. So Arsenal were not the Invincibles in... I'm being pedantic here. Arsenal were not the Invincibles in 2004. They were league Invincibles. But they lost 5 games that season. They were not They did not do an invincible season. They did an invincible league season. They lost twice to Middlesbrough in the League Cup. They lost in the Champions League twice, I think, or maybe 3 times, and then they lost in the FA Cup as well against Man United, I believe. So, yeah, I don't know. To me, it's crazy because Spurs look dangerous without injuries. I think that they will. I think they'll get 4th. I think I like Spurs a lot. I like Spurs a lot. I watched the 3-minute Kyogo and they were pure vibes. So bring him in, even though he's out for 4 months. Hello. Yeah, Toby would be popping off there. He does not like it when I say that. He doesn't like it when I say that at all. Right, guys. I've been live for just over an hour and 15. It's getting late. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is literally from here, I'm going to go over to Twitch. So if you want to keep talking to me, that's the beauty of the Twitch. I do game, but I do just like general chit chat with you guys as well. Come over to the Twitch. It's just LNobbins. If you don't have an account, it's like free to make. It's just live streams, basically. That's all it is. I want to get more viewers on the YouTube over to the Twitch because I feel like people are missing out on some high quality, more chilled out vibe conversation and also just some fun gameplay as well. So click that link, go to LNobbins on Twitch, go follow me because I'm literally going to end the stream, but in 5 minutes, I'm going to start another stream over on Twitch. So I'm going, but I'm not going. And there we go. Vava Martin, thank you for following. You've done the correct thing. You've become an Albino. You followed the Twitch. Really well done, mate. You can have a cookie. You can have a prize. I'll see you over there later, lads. Until then, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll try to figure out all the widget issues. Thank you so much to Sanjeev, to Spurs, to Jacob, aka United Spurs of America. Thank you to Austin King for all of your very generous super chats. It means the world. Thank you to anyone who subscribed and if you are new. Until then, guys, have a lovely rest of your evening. And you are going to have a lovely evening because you're going to go and follow me over on Twitch. And I'll be there in like 5 minutes. Goodbye, guys.